but this.
That's not. Let me hear that. What stat are you talking about?
You can't dissect the two.
Yes, you can. There's a lot.
Hold on. Calm down, everybody. Just take.
Guys, let me go ahead and say this before we start. As you already know, The View, they have these two ladies up there, one named Joy, one named Whoopi. Names that are associated with happiness. Yet these two have a tendency to just be completely and totally hopelessly hateful. Same thing with Joy. Let's read over MSD and see who I believe will be fired soon. But I think that Sunny Hostin has the most amount of discontent. And as you guys will see over the course of this video, there's absolutely nothing sunny about Sunny. That right there was just a small smidget that I actually put in the 12 o'clock video. Now, guys, I did not plan on making this video for Tuesday, but I think I'm going to go ahead and get this video out tomorrow to go along with the 12 o'clock video, which, of course, I'll be referencing in this video here because I'm going to kind of need to kind of give my thoughts on what happens to the Never Trumpers going forward, even though this video is primarily about the hate and discontent that comes out of the mouth of Sunny Hostin, who I think just may be the most hateful one of the cast of The View. However, I'm also going to be talking about The View just a little bit in this video to kind of explain exactly what this particular show actually appeals to. So make sure you guys stick around for the full bit. But like I said, it's primarily going to be what The View appeals to. Also to go on top of that, Sunny Hostin's hate and very, very bad take. But also to go on top of that, what happens to the Never Trumpers going forward. So yeah, we got a little bit discussed. I'm going to try to make this video as quick and concise as possible because I think I can get these points in there. It doesn't take a whole lot because the truth be told is this right here. I'm pretty sure most of you guys already know exactly how hateful the cast of this show is. But I want to say this before we get started. The View at this moment in time is trying to find a more pro-Trump host or a more pro-Trump member of the crew to counter Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, and Whoopi Goldberg. It's going to be very interesting to see who they pick. My money is on Sage Steele, seeing how it is that Trump has already named Carolyn Leavitt as his press secretary. So it's going to probably get wild, and you're probably going to see more hate out of Sunny going forward. But before we get to all that, make sure you guys please go ahead and cut the notifications on. Make sure you guys please go ahead and hit the like button. You guys can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter, also known as X. When you see a post that pops up on your Facebook feed, make sure you guys please hit the like button on the post too, and also click on the video and hit like on the video too, so that way it will move up both algorithms. And let us go ahead and get started. So what exactly does The View appeal to? The View appeals to primarily retirees, people who are sitting home. By the way, I'm not making fun of retirees or anything like that. So don't think that's what I'm doing. Trust me, I've had... both my grandmothers have passed away, but I know what it's like to have elderly family members. Trust me, I know, especially when they get to the point where they can't really work anymore. They're probably going to be in front of the TV. I get that. But the elderly tend to be the ones who are the easiest to spook and scare. I could tell you guys some stories, but I don't think I need to for the purpose of the time of this video. But the fact of the matter is, if you sit in front of negativity all day, you may begin to develop negative thoughts yourself or have a negative reaction to what it is that they're talking about. And of course, the person they choose to talk about the entire hour that they are on the air is, of course, the orange man, Donald Trump, orange man bad. That's pretty much how these women's minds are geared. And it also does not help when you have two ladies who claim to be conservatives who are actually never Trumpers. And like I said, we'll discuss them a little bit more further at the end of the video. Anna Navarro and Alyssa Farron Griffin. And yeah, when you've got those two joining in the hate, yes, the disinformation is maximized like 1,000-fold. But when you see Sunny Hostin react like this to something that happened earlier in the day, and of course the thing that happened earlier in the day is what I'm showing you guys in the B-roll footage, which I talked about in the previous video, that right there being Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski claiming that they went down to Mar-a-Lago to speak to Donald Trump and basically bend the knee. I talked about this in the previous video, and I gave you guys my honest thoughts on that. It will be in the description box of this video here, and it will be linked to the end cards. It makes you wonder exactly how much further off the rails this woman is going to go.
Look, the bottom line is that America needs a free press that is willing to speak truth to power right now, more than ever. And I think that we have to be very clear-eyed when we think about the president-elect and cover the president-elect. And I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able to speak truth and to be able to cover a story. So maybe they're not journalists in the true sense. Maybe they're saying that they're opinion journalists. But we have to remember that Trump is the guy who ushered in the era of fake news. He is the guy who ushered in alternative facts. He is the guy who attacked 3 black female journalists. He's the guy that revoked Jim Acosta's press credentials for asking him a question. And so I think that this president-elect, I hate to say it, would like nothing more than to have only Fox News cover him, would like nothing more than a state-sponsored media. And I don't think he can be trusted in the way that other presidents can be trusted. This is an aberration.
Now, if you watch the 12 o'clock video, chances are you probably already saw that bit. I decided to use it again for this video here because obviously we got to talk about the Never Trumpers. But the reason why I'm bringing this clip back in here is because it once again proves the point that these people love to accuse you of that of which they are already guilty of. However, these people also at the exact same time love to tell you that we don't have what they have, even though they do have it. I'm talking about the online apparatus. I'm talking about the mainstream media. They have CBS, they have ABC News, they have MSDNC, they've got daytime talk, they've got late night TV. They basically own the television screen. And chances are, if you're watching conservative content here on YouTube or more center content, chances are you know BreadTube exists. Chances are you know that there are left-wing streamers and left-wing YouTubers out there, and even left-wing networks that play their show here on YouTube who continue to throw out the toxic sludge that they tend to kick out there to the elderly audiences that are currently sitting at home. By the way, most of the left-wing YouTube channels that claim that they want to overtake the mainstream media, that are tired of the mainstream media, they rely on the media for all their disinformation. I just figured I'd point that out before we go any further. But basically what you're getting at Sunny Hostin there is, I don't want the truth. I want you to cover this man much, much harder. These are very, very dangerous, very, very toxic people. And as I've said in the previous video, they're kind of in the bargaining phase of what to do going forward as a party. That bargaining phase is going to end up, it's going to end up going to depression, is what the hell it's going to end up doing. And depression, of course, is also the stage where somebody commits self-harm, whether through activity or inactivity. But still, the point is this right here. They have no idea which way to go. You have the very, very hateful side, which, of course, is represented by Sunny Hostin, and you have the more commonsensical side, which is where we bring the Never Trumpers up. So, Alyssa Farrah Griffin, to her credit, and I'm not a big fan of hers because of the crap that she says every day, but still, though, to her credit, because it's like a broken clock, it's right twice a day, and don't worry, that right there will be coming up again in the video that I have on Woke 2.0. Alyssa Farrah Griffin, she had this here to say in the post-mortem of Trump winning.
I think it was the right thing to do, and I've heard a lot of folks on the left coming after Joe and Mika saying, don't normalize him. Well, 75 million plus American voters normalized Donald Trump by making him President-elect Donald Trump. In this notion that if sort of the resistance who opposes him stayed in their safe bubbles, sat on their hands and just complained about him for 4 years, that would have a bigger impact than sitting down. I talked to Mika, actually. They met with him for over 90 minutes. They raised very valid concerns. They both see themselves as opinion journalists who want to actually be able to engage the person that they talk about every day, actually be able to raise issues with them when they're concerned. And in the same way that I thought it was right for Joe Biden to meet with him, and that I think it's right for presidents to meet with foreign adversaries to try to find diplomatic relations and ways to bring people together and solve problems, this is absolutely the right thing. I would sit down with Donald Trump. I would interview Donald Trump. And I'll go a step further. I hope good people work for him. We need to stop demonizing people because they supported a man who just became president of the United States. We should hope good people are around him and smart journalists are challenging him.
Okay. Now, in a second, I'm going to play to you guys Sunny Hostin's response. And, of course, you'll see here in a second that there's nothing sunny about Sunny. But I want to say this really quick. When you are sitting down having a conversation and you're the president of the United States and you're talking to someone like, say, Vladimir Putin, somebody who is in control of a country that has got the largest stockpile of nuclear missiles in the world. Now, granted, that conversation about whether defensive or offensive is irrelevant in this topic. But still, though, do you think it's a good idea to try to start a fight with that person? Do you think it's a good idea to try to have a boxing match with them? What if you're sitting next to Xi Jinping? Do you think it's a good idea to walk in there and kick him in the face before the meeting even starts? No, that's not how you do diplomacy. I could sit here and have negative feelings towards my business partner who I may not like, but yet if we get into a room, we have to talk business. We have to try to play nice. And that same said person probably has negative feelings towards me or what I represent. Still, though, at the same time, it's almost like, what's the phrase? You struck my balls, I struck your balls. And that may not be the best phrase, but of course, it's kind of a phrase I learned when I was in the military because it's kind of a common phrase because people would always do the people favors, of course. And that right there, of course, because you'd see people who didn't deserve to get promoted. Don't get me started on this bullshit, but still at the same time, pretty sure you guys know what I mean. If you're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you. It's called keeping up appearances. It's called not trying to start anything. It's called trying to keep the peace. And maybe the media is doing this because maybe the mainstream media realizes that the election is over and that the 47th president of the United States, President-elect Donald Trump, who could still end up being 48 because we know about chicanery with the Democrats, and of course the mainstream media would in fact cheer it on. The point is this right here. It could be that maybe they know that they have aided into a lot of the crazy stuff that's going on. I mean, I talked about this earlier in the previous video that I wouldn't exactly just up and forgive Joe and Mika because them constantly screaming the fascism crap could have very, very well led to one of those assassins damn near taking out the president-elect. And, of course, it was a second assassination tip. I'm pretty sure you guys get the point. It's kind of a poison chalice when it comes from these people. But that right there then brings us to Sunny Hostin. Well, let's go ahead and get to her.
Country, it's very difficult for people to believe that racism and misogyny, they're just alive and well. I think that we don't want to think that about ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, but it's my lived experience tells me that it does still exist, even if your lived experience doesn't tell you that it exists. And, you know, the facts support that. I think we have a graph. If you look at there's a clear racial divide in who voted for Trump as opposed to who voted.
Okay, now, before we go any further, I want to go ahead and say this. You already know where I am politically. You already know how I vote. You already know how I feel about the issues. All right? And I've already told you guys I'm going to be going in a different direction come start of 2025, which, of course, is still going to be social commentary, but it's just a different direction. I'm going to be angling more towards pop culture. I'll further explain next week or right before Thanksgiving. But I want you to think about something real quick. You can't buy my beliefs, okay? And most of you guys listening, I probably can't buy your beliefs either. All right? But to the moderate out there who may be white, maybe a white female, you got to find a way to sell her, okay? You got to find a way to sell this person, okay? I mean, I have worked in sales before, not the best salesman in the world, but of course, you got to try to convince somebody to buy your product. Meaning that you got to try to convince somebody to vote for your candidate, to vote for your party. The voting against stuff doesn't really work in the long term because voting against something after a while just leaves you broke and just makes you hateful. I know this. I personally went through it as well. Politics makes you a jerk. But you guys will kind of pick up on this a little bit more and more over the course of the next little bit that you guys listen to, which I'm going to let run a little bit longer because this is Sunny Hostin's way of trying to say that if you voted for Donald Trump and most of you were racist, misogynistic, and sexist is what she's going to say, she's going to completely miss the point, which is you got to try to sell people. You got to try to convince them to come to your side. What I'm trying to say to you is that these people are toxic and they shoo voters away. But let's watch it.
Harris. It's very clear. It's not only clear by race, but it's also clear by education. And so the notion somehow that is not true. This is by education. Those who attended college voted for her at a higher degree than those that didn't.
But
I've said that. Let me just finish. And so I've said that before, and there was so much backlash because I think it's an uncomfortable, inconvenient truth about this country.
But his whole point is
Never mind that 1 in 3 people of color voted for Donald Trump. 1 in 3 people of color. That's black people, it's Hispanic people, never mind that. And of course, the education issue is going to get brought up.
Because of racism and misogyny. They voted for him because they felt like, I think the biggest common denominator in this election is people want a good life and ability to provide for their family.
Well,
and whether we agree or not with Donald Trump's plans,
black people
they thought that he was reflective.
One of the poorest demographics in this country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny. You're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
But the stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not what I just said. What stat are you talking about?
You can't dissect the
Yes, you can. There's a lot
Hold on. Calm down. Everybody just take a breath. Take a breath. Well, take a beat.
The woman's face, the smugness out of Sunny. It's insane. It's ridiculous. The stats are stats. Look, I come from the sports world, all right? And I have to listen to people tell me that this player sucks, this quarterback sucks, this wide receiver can't catch a football, and I ask them if they watch the game. And they'll normally respond with, well, I got the stat. No, you need to watch the fucking game, you idiot. Because if you watch the game, that right there will give you a better idea of why said wide receiver dropped the pass. Why it was that maybe the ball went through. Maybe the ball was thrown a little bit too hard. Maybe it was an awkward angle. Maybe it was raining that day. Did you think about that there? Maybe the quarterback actually threw a pitch-perfect pass to somebody, and they caught it the wrong way, and the ball came out, and then all of a sudden somebody just happened to be in the vicinity, a cornerback or a safety, snatched the ball, took off. Maybe you need to understand why it was that interception occurred. It's the same thing in baseball, okay? Balls and strikes. Well, obviously he's having a hard time hitting the strike zone here. Dude, are you watching the game? Do you see that maybe the umpire is not exactly, how do I say, a guy who can see? Maybe he needs to get his eyes checked. It's called having conversations with people. It's called trying to find a common ground. If you really and truly want to unite with people, and I've said this right before, most of the country will unite. It'll just be idiots like Sunny Hostin that will refuse to unite with us. Sunny, the backlash towards you is because, well, for a multitude of reasons, you're not exactly Sunny, okay? The backlash to you is that we're tired of hearing your mouth. The backlash is that everything that comes out of your mouth is just pure raw sewage. It's like if you open your, look. You can have an attractive face or whatever, and if everything that comes out of your mouth is pure garbage, nobody's going to want to be around you. All right? Nobody's going to want to listen to you. A lot of hate, a lot of discontent, a lot of stupidity coming from this woman. And also to go on top of that, when you keep playing the race card over and over again, the only thing that you're doing is just stereotyping the literal shit out of your own side. And then to go on top of that there, the education issue. I've said it before. You don't sit here and call people uneducated. Just say somebody without a college degree, somebody who's working class. This is a disdain they have for you, okay? This is a disdain that they have for you, the average person. And what's really funny, too, is that the audience that they speak to, which, of course, is an audience mostly above the age of 65, a lot of these people were working class at one time and they're retirees. Like I said, if you continue to watch negative stuff over and over and over again, after a while, you're just going to become a negative person, which is where we get to the question of what happens to the Never-Trumpers. Let's listen to Alyssa real quick, and then I will tell you what happens to the Never-Trumpers when Trump is gone. I think that the writing is on the wall for someone like, say, Alyssa Farron-Griffin. She is starting to see exactly how toxic these people are. As a matter of fact, I would argue that Alyssa has known this for a while. She also knows that Anna Navarro is toxic as hell, too. Alyssa Farron-Griffin should have never been on The View. Now, granted, she's a Never-Trumper, and I don't really like what she's got to say most of the time. And, of course, she's been married multiple times, can't keep a man. But still, though, I have no idea why I threw that here. But still, the point is this right here. Alyssa was never really and truly designed to be on The View. She was never really and truly designed to be around such toxic people, even though she did kind of sort of get what it was that she asked for. Someone like Anna, on the other hand, is an absolute batshit loon, and I think that Anna was a special type of trigger when it comes to Trump. Sunny, on the other hand, is letting you know exactly how she really and truly feels about anybody that's, let's just say, not exactly in her camp. She's a very, very detestable human being, and she's full of hate. But I did tell you that I would kind of lean into what exactly I felt would happen to the Never-Trumpers. Some of these Never-Trumpers will probably come back over. Now, does that mean that you should just welcome them in? Well, it depends. To what extent? I could go through a list of Never-Trumpers that just should be excised completely away from conservatives because they're pretty much Democrats now. Griffin is kind of a Democrat now herself, but I think she's waking up to the realization that she kind of sort of ended up in the wrong spot, that she shouldn't be around these toxic people. Whereas someone like Anna Navarro is just hate-filled, and she's loving the idea of being around toxic people because it's probably the first time in her life that she's ever had friends. The woman doesn't look to me like she's ever been popular. Or Alyssa, on the other hand, doesn't look to me like she's somebody who's ever had that problem. I mean, she's definitely much, much more attractive than the other ladies up there and definitely much, much younger. But still, at the same time, like I said, there's going to be another person going to that show at some point in time to kind of counterbalance the BS that come from Joy and Whoopi. And also Sunny as well. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see exactly what happens. But as far as the Never Trumpers are concerned, like I said, some of them will eventually see the light. But then again, though, some of them will go the way of Anna Navarro. Some of them will go the way of Rick Wilson. Some of them will go the way of Jonah Goldberg, which I personally believe is an extremely sad example of a person who was never really and truly conservative to begin with. So yes, you will see some of them walk away from the loons. But like I said in the case when it comes to Nala Ray, when she said that she was converting to Christianity, let that person, make that person prove to you that they've actually come around. With that right there being said, guys, send what you think in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys have got to say. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comment section. I would like to get this video out here tomorrow. The schedule, of course, was to go back to 2 videos a day. But then again, though, I may throw the 3rd video out anyways. I understand I'm kind of breaking my own rule here, but this video may come out like 4, and the 3rd one may come out like 7 o'clock. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to do it. It may just come out at 5. I'll probably go back to using my community tab again, but still, this is the 2nd video of the day. So make sure you guys please hit the like button, subscribe, share, please comment. I don't know about the 3rd video, but I want to get this video out ahead of the others. And I'll see you guys later.